Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Alan, take it away.
Yeah, so hey, I guess this is the loose adaptation of the Transformers the movie back from the 80s. Unicron is hungry. He's going from planet to planet, devouring planets. He arrives at the planet of the Maximals, and the leader of the Maximals, these beast-like robotic creatures, you know what I'm saying there. The leader sacrifices himself so that the Maximals can leave the planet with the transwarp crystal. I don't know. I forget the name of it. Who cares? So they go to Earth, where they supposedly are protected. Meanwhile, on Earth, 1994, a museum intern finds a piece. The transwarp thing activates it, and it brings the Terracons to Earth, so that they can find the transwarp thing and bring Unicron to Earth to devour it, along with the Autobots. And did I mention Pete Davidson plays Mirage? That's pretty much all you need to know about this movie. Yeah, I was so bored with this movie. I don't know what we haven't talked about it, so I'll just tell you what I think. It's cool to watch, I guess, Transformers, to watch a semi turn into Optimus Prime and then fight, and but I've seen that before, and I'm not a big fan of the series, but I've seen it in all the series. It looks amazing, but that can only take you so far. They go on car chases, and then they turn into Transformers. The feeling I was just bored out of my mind with this movie. I didn't feel like, it's okay. Here's the connection here. The writer Joby, I want to say Howard, but I know that's not his last name. He's the same guy who wrote Kenobi. He was the writer and showrunner Kenobi. And I felt the same way about this movie as I do with Kenobi. It's like he took Transformer toys into his backyard and created this little story involving Unicron, and then that's what's on. That's what we saw. It's his backyard fantasy. There's no depth to the story. It's just a narrative. Hey, we got to do this in order to get that. We got to hunt for this before we're chased by that. And then, hey, at the end, they almost win, but then they don't. It's a very bland and a very boring movie. And we talk about all the time, there's no reason big Hollywood should produce a boring movie. And that's what they've done here. They've produced a boring movie. So yeah, Chris, I'm sure you loved it. Joby Harold, that's who it is. Thanks, Jet.
I did not love it. I thought it was bad. There's one aspect of the film that I enjoyed, and that was the stuff with the Transformers was pretty good. It made me feel like, gosh, how about just do a movie with no humans? Because there were 3 moments in the film where humans, like, only the humans can do this because they're small, basically. Like, it was so dumb. And then that intern from the museum, what was that actress's name? She was awful. I mean, awful. She couldn't physically run. Like, she was so bad.
And she wasn't even in heels.
She wasn't in heels, but you'd see her run. Was it Dominique Fishback?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, she was terrible. And I feel like she's been better in other things. But there were so many, like, her character had to run a lot of places. And she is literally a woman who runs like someone who doesn't exercise. Okay, maybe that was part of her character. I don't know. But the fact that she always knew everything, it's like she had the dumb white lady boss. Like, and this is the thing that, like, okay, other people are going to point this out, so I'll just point it out. Every white person in the movie is a dumb person. Okay, you've got Anthony Ramos's character who plays Noah Diaz. He was actually pretty good. I actually like him. He was in the Heights. So yeah. Anthony Ramos, I think he was like the thing is, it's like, okay, of the humans, I genuinely like this kid because, he's trying to help his little brother out, right? He's doing everything for his little brother, including possibly a life of crime, but anything to help his little brother. I admire that. I admire that, right? Like,
yeah, I'll tell you, my audience,
Sure.
they love Anthony Ramos.
Who does?
The audience that I was with, I was kind of
No,
in the
I'm
Latin
saying
area of Orange County, and
I
they
also
love
like.
him.
I
Yeah,
also like him. I think he's very good. Like, but also you could have made this movie and had no humans in it. Like literally, just make a Transformers, just go full galactic cosmic Transformers. You don't need to do this. You don't need to have this with humans. But it did annoy me after a while that like I noticed because it just stood out. Every single white person in the movie there's the guy that Noah Diaz goes to do a job interview, and there's the white guy's like, I'm not even going to interview you. Like, and then like, the intern, what's her name? Her name is Elena.
yeah.
She works at the museum and she knows everything. She's like, my dad used to like the fact that she's just like the know-it-all girl scientist who hasn't been given a break and is the dumb white lady boss who they really like lean into it. And it's like, it's annoying, but it's annoying in the same way as, by the way, decades ago, you would have like, who is the hoodlum and the criminal? Well, it's always a Latino or it's always a black person. Okay, that was wrong then. But what's also wrong now is you can't make everyone of a certain race be bad. Whether it was in the past where it's like, basically, for the most part, not always, but of a certain era, it was like certain types of people played certain types of characters. That was wrong then. It's wrong now to constantly every white person, bad, and especially they really this woman who's her boss, like Elena's boss at the museum, she's just a total. She like kind of takes credit for something that she finds from her being the intern. Like there's all this stuff like where
it's a trope. That's
what's that?
It's a trope. She
Yes.
claims she claims all the successes of her POC employees,
Right,
and
exactly.
then she dismisses everything they say.
Exactly.
That's what all white people do in movies now.
Yeah, it's what exactly. So it's like, how about a balance? You know what I mean? Like I'm just looking for balance. But this is just as infuriating as and I feel like it's an overcorrection. This is why they do this, right? It's an overcorrection of like, oh my gosh, for years. I mean, there's like, what's that movie? I'm trying to remember it. Oh my God. Where's Gary? So both of us can like not remember it. It was is it Hollywood something Hollywood? It's about a black actor trying to make it in Hollywood, but all he plays is like hoodlums and whatnot.
Oh yeah. Isn't that Robert Townsend?
Yes, Robert Townsend. What's the name of the movie? Chat, help me, chat. You're my only hope. Yeah. So that movie is about him trying to make it in Hollywood as an actor, but he can only get certain
Hollywood Shuffle.
Sorry. Hollywood Shuffle. Yeah. Very good film, comedy, funny. It makes a solid point, but not hitting you over the head. It's not super lectury. It's just like, hey, here's an observation about something. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to make my own movie. I'm going to make a movie about this thing, but it's not like super politicized, right? It's just like, oh, and also valid point. But the point is now we've gone the other direction where, and I notice it where I'm just like, they're doing this too much. They're overcompensating. Yeah. It's just
it's this idea of we're defining characters now by their skin color and not by the character itself, by the people have depth beyond their skin. And that's what films need to focus on, is developing good characters.
100%. And it's like, it's like, oh, why do they have to do that? Because Anthony Ramos is, I think, really likable, just as an actor, you get involved in his story. But as a whole, the movie, you know what it felt like? It felt like a dumb cartoon plot that they decided to make into a live action movie.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of felt that way about all the Transformers films, frankly. The two Transformers films that I've enjoyed, the first one was Shia LaBeouf. I think is a very good introduction to the concept, and bringing it into the real world, directed by Michael Bay, with a little assist from Steven Spielberg. but like really leaning into the boy and his dog situation. And then Bumblebee, just Bumblebee, a simple story, a girl in her car, fine. But all the other Transformers movies have just been like overly complicated, leaning into God. What was the one where one of the Transformers actually had testicles, like balls, and they were like on a pyramid? I forget it.
You're
Was
asking
it
the wrong guy here.
Transformers 2? Anyways, uh, yeah. So I did not like this film. I thought, and then there was like a couple other things that really bugged me. There's a character that has like they go to Peru, and there's a character that has like a Spanish accent, and that character, it's God, what's the name of this character? Wheeljack. And Wheeljack is like, he's talking like he has a he has a
Heavy Latin accent.
heavy Latin accent. And then like Noah's character is just like, oh, do you speak Spanish? And he goes, that's racist. Literally, the Transformer says that's racist for asking because he has an accent if he can speak Spanish. It's dumb. The audience that I saw it with, it was what do they call a fan access screening, which they do like a 1 day early screening. You can buy tickets for it, and it's open to the public, but it was kind of a tepid response. So yeah, I just like I just the sort of dumb nature of it. And we'll get into the third act as we kind of pivot to spoilers. But
yeah, I'll say this: my audience. I was sitting next to a Transformers super fan, and he loved everything that was going on. But just the stoic nature of the rest of the audience was just stood out to me as, yeah, I think they're as bored as I am.
Let's talk spoilers for Transformers: Rise of the Beast. That third act is a mess. It's a mess. One of the things I did actually like on the positive side, before we talk about other aspects, what I did like about the action in this movie is I thought the action was well done, in the sense that part of like Transformers 2 just got confusing. You're like, who's what and whatever. They're looking this, like they did a very good job of like very clearly identifying who, the Autobots and whatnot, the Maximals. They were well defined. And I thought the action sequences had like defined goals, and then they paid attention to geography. So you'd get like these wide shots of like, these characters are here, these characters are over here doing this, here's what's happening here. We're gonna push in on this and tell you what happens here. I mean, it was fast-paced, intense, but at least it wasn't confusing. So I want to give it credit for that. It deserves credit for that aspect. Having said that, there are 3 moments in this movie where it's like, only the humans can do it. And it's something like really important. And I'm thinking it would be way better if you got because humans are just too easily killed, right? Like, it's just like, and of course they're never really in danger. They're never really in danger. But it's something that I didn't know about. It felt very Iron Man, but is, out of the show is Noah Diaz's character. He gets like this iron suit. What do they call it?
Is that the symbiote suit? Someone mentioned symbiote, but I have no idea what they really call it.
It's very Iron Man like, but it's fine. Like, that worked for me. But other than that, like, oh my God, like, it's a mess. I think it's really because that girl just was not good. That girl was not, she was just not good. I'm sorry. Like, and I know she's been better in other movies. Someone was pointing out a film that she was in where she was really good.
See, I mean, let me defend that for a second. It's not that she wasn't. It's not that she was bad. The character is just boring. The character was just bland, and there's just no depth to it, other than the fact that she needed to be the smart one about archaeology. Apparently, Transformers archaeology, and and that was the role she had to play, and it's like giving an actress a role like that and say, okay, make something amazing, spectacular out of it is almost impossible without having to rewrite or redo or take over the role. And that's just what young actors don't do. You saw what happened with Jenna Ortega and Wednesday. For an actor to come out and try to make something alive and different about these bland roles can mean career suicide. So I'm not saying she was bad. I'm just saying that there was just nothing for that character.
Well, I'm saying she was bad.
Yeah.
Bad character, and then they had a woman who is not particularly athletic forced to run, and she ran like it just got distracting to me. If she was like running, but she's running like someone who failed gym class, and I don't understand why they didn't. And of course, there's no romance between the two leads, which I think there could have been. I don't know. It's just very bizarre that these, we've replaced old bad tropes with new bad tropes. That's what we've done. And you can call it wokeness, you can call it whatever you want. I just think it's bad and lazy. It's bad and lazy. And there you go. So the big spoilers, no one will be shocked.
Yeah, they win. They win
in the end. But the big spoiler is, and I'm giving spoiler warning. Okay, we have the spoiler warning at the bottom. I am telling you spoilers right now. 3, 2, 1. The post-credit scene. Noah Diaz's character is being recruited by the evil guy from House of Cards. I like that actor. Very good actor. To be involved in a new project. And he literally hands him a business card that has the G.I. Joe logo. And they're going full, they're merging the G.I. Joe and Transformers franchises into one movie. So there's going to be a G.I. Joe Transformers meetup. Did that ever happen in the cartoons? I don't know, because I had aged out of the cartoons by the time that G.I. Joe the cartoon had come along,
I was in high school. I wasn't watching G.I. Joe, and
I wasn't watching Saturday morning cartoons as much when I was in high school. My interest shifted to cars and girls and going to the movies, and also comic books. Oddly, I still read comic books.
Winter Soldier is saying the Hasbro universe.
Yeah, the Hasbro verse is basically, this movie is the birth of the Hasbro verse, a direct connection to G.I. Joe. That's what's happening. Whether it'll happen, we'll see based on the box office. I'm not sure how much the box office matters. They keep making these Transformers movies, and I think it's been diminishing returns. You've got 2 good movies out of 7 movies is what it is. Bumblebee, very, very enjoyable, entertaining. And the first Transformers movie, which I also thought was enjoyable and entertaining.